James Williams, Director of Programs with MEF. Now, we've taken a three-step approach in the warm-up to this session. We've had Guillermo Escofet from Omdia setting the whole DCB scene, going into detail actually about the whole area of subscriptions and mentioning specifically some successes and indeed referencing the sponsor of this session and indeed the mobile ecosystem forum digital transformation event, DOCOMO Digital. And now we're going to be looking in detail at the area of subscriptions and mobile subscription bundling. So to do that, I'm going to be introduced by Rakshit Kapoor, who is Director of Partnerships with DOCOMO Digital. Rakshit, lovely to have you with us. Hi.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
No, great to see you. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in hot, scorching London.
Well, there we go. Yeah, experiencing it as well. Also being joined, I suspect, from a rather hot London, possibly, is Simon Bailey, who's Head of Partnerships, Gaming and News Categories with BT and EE. Simon, great to see you. Hi.
Hello, very nice to meet you. Yes, just outside London, so a little bit cooler here, but yeah.
A little bit cooler. You're in the attic probably as well, and it's hot.
I am in the
as well.
Super hot, yeah.
Excellent. But hey, we're talking about subscriptions, and that's what's really needed to make the DCB market hot. Anyway, and joining us also is the VP Commercial with an organization many of us will have known, particularly a little bit older, for many years, Napster. Hugo.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Napster. So I think you might be aware of what I might be referring to with Napster and the whole Facebook story. But can you, for those of the audience that might not be so initiated, your original founder of Napster, if you go back to explain a little bit of the background to Napster and what it is you do.
Well, I mean, I won't talk too much as to the history of Napster, but I can definitely.
It was interesting, very interesting. Yeah.
Definitely, but I think it was many years ago. I mean,
it was.
What we're very much focused on is, we've just recently been acquired by a consortium led by Algorand, which is incredibly exciting. So we're going to be doubling down on Web3 and taking their technology and using that and building that into our streaming service. But we've also, more excitingly, as of today, just relaunched our service, our brand. So it's looking pretty good, actually.
I wasn't aware of that. So you've got a new brand, new logo, new everything.
New logo, new brand. Well, not as of today, but today. So we actually launched it about a month or so ago. The brand new refresh and the brand new UX and UI, and it's looking pretty phenomenal. Actually, I'm really proud of the team.
Fantastic, great to have you with us. And so, Rakshit, could you just explain DOCOMO Digital? You're kindly sponsoring this session. You're a very firm fixture in the world of direct carrier billing for growth in that working group. What it is you do and your organization and history and what it is you're looking to do in the future.
Yeah, thanks, James. DOCOMO Digital, we are a part of NTT Corporation. Our parent is NTT DOCOMO Japan, the telecom operator. We are their digital payments arm, headquartered here in London. We are providing direct carrier billing, integration and aggregation services, as well as bundling integration and aggregation services. We work with close to 100 telcos across the globe, telcos and telco groups, I would say. And, the kind of merchants that we work with are mostly app stores like Google Play, Samsung, Huawei, but also, going beyond app stores, we're working with Razer, the gaming brand, Pixar, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, excited to be here. I am Director of Partnerships for DOCOMO Digital. I've been with the company for 10 years. And I've seen the company evolve from one business to another and grow exponentially. So yeah, excited to be here.
Fantastic. And having those big brands with you on the journey is truly important. And
absolutely,
we're going to be touching on that later on during many sessions during the day. But I think what we've been seeing is having content from those brands, the big brands, definitely helps the adoption. And Simon, your journey with BT and EE and what you were up to before as well.
I've been here a little while, actually. So I herald from Orange. 14 years I've been in the organisation in various different guises, but at the moment leading on partnerships, specifically focusing on gaming and how we use gaming to really show the power of our networks, best 5G networks, best full fibre networks. And, the subscriptions, gaming subscriptions really help us to do that. and that's what I'm focusing on today.
Fantastic. Again, tie it back to what Guillermo was saying at the start of the day. I think he mentioned the example was Verizon Wireless, and they included some subscriptions, some credit, $75 of credit for Tank Wars. I've never played that,
yep.
But anyway, something like that, very, very specific. So have you seen the growth in mobile gaming the past couple of years during, dare I say, COVID times? Has there been a real massive growth?
Gaming exploded in COVID. It was a perfect storm of people having maybe a little bit more disposable income and a hell of a lot more time, and therefore you just saw people right across the age demographic either finding gaming again, so kind of lapsed gamers in their 30s and 40s that had a SNES or an old PC coming back to gaming because they had time to fill, and kids getting into gaming, family gaming, and the range and plethora of content out there is just so phenomenal. And then also, the microtransactions, free-to-play games, really getting people hooked, and then enabling them to kind of get deeper into that and progress. So we saw
talking about that, the detail in actually the bundles and what you can do in that. Just before we actually get into the main event, talking about the subscription side of things, on the gaming front, now we seem to be coming out into the light, dare I say it, in the post-COVID era. Has that big increase in people's usage of mobile gaming stuck, or have you seen a bit of a decrease?
So I think we are seeing maybe potentially gaming tends to be fairly seasonal. So as we all see the sunshine outside, we put down some of the screens and we head out and get some fresh air. But actually, we've definitely seen a sustained amount of gaming happening. People that have rediscovered it have stuck with it. We're seeing a slight seasonal drop off, but that's to be expected. And as we head in towards autumn, that will absolutely pick up again. So gaming has really stuck, and it's here to stay. It's continuing to grow.
Fantastic. This is one component. We've got music, we've got so many other parts out there and so many other services which you can actually bundle as well. Rakshit, can we just dial it back, and let's get back to the absolute basics of subscription bundling for the audience. What does it actually entail within mobile tariffs, and what's actually going on out there with mobile operators around the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, to put it simply, bundling is when a digital service is offered as a bundle to a core service like voice and data from the telco side, and there are usually exciting offers like extended trial periods or attractive discounts, or we've also seen in some cases services are perpetually free to the end user, and we've seen in the earlier sessions, Omdia predicted that in the next 5 years, direct carrier billing would be a 72 billion business globally, right? That's 52% growth. Of course, it's growing much faster than core telco services like voice and data. Important to note that Omdia includes bundling as a part of direct carrier billing, not as a separate business line, right? And we all know that telcos, have looked at bundles as a great customer retention tool that also brings the telco in the mobile commerce value chain. From the merchant perspective, it brings them long-term strategic partnership with telcos, right? And both telcos and merchants are working towards paid user acquisition. But lately what we've seen is there are regulations around App Store native payments, which are proving to be an opportunity. Now, telcos and merchants are looking at alternative business outside, and bundling is a great example of that. All of this combined, what we're seeing is an increase in bundling partnerships, right? From 2019 Q4 till 2021 Q3, we've seen a 38% growth in number of partnerships around bundles compared to 15% on carrier-built add-ons, right? So it kind of reinforces the fact that bundling is a hot space now and for a foreseeable future.
Yeah, that reflects very much into our own payments research within MEF. You look at last year's mobile payments, there's just consumers' attitudes towards mobile payments. And actually China was separated out because it's so different, seen as being so different from others. And the big uptake and usage of direct carrier billing was really purely down to the smart bundling of different types of services and the resulting uptake. So talking about that, Hugo, What type of service bundles are you seeing consumers really jumping on, going, do you know what, we really want a piece of that, we're going to sign up, because you've just hit the bundle nirvana, the bullseye? What's going on out there?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm coming at it from a different angle because, as I've just mentioned, we've actually relaunched the app. So we're actually, whilst we have tons of data on what we've done historically, we're sort of coming at this in a fresh pair of eyes, right? And we're going, yes, we've seen what has worked, whether it be hard or soft bundles. They've done very well in helping us grow our numbers.
Could you explain that? Sorry if I interrupt you. Could you explain what you mean by hard and soft bundles? Because there are many people out there that won't know.
Yeah, so I mean, a hard bundle is linked up with a platform or a phone tariff, say, and then a soft bundle is the ability for someone to pick and choose which one they want to add on. I mean, I don't know whether you guys want to add in a bit more flavor to that, but that's how I look at it, very plain and simply. But when it comes to consumer preference, I'm not going to talk too much about the historicals. I mean, I wanted to come at it from a different angle. I mean, you're looking at where the trends are heading. I definitely think from a macro perspective, whether it's a hard or soft bundle, I think if there are some savings for people to be had with this sort of this bundle in this current climate that we're rocketing towards, I think more and more people are going to start taking them up. I mean, you're talking about mums, dads, families looking at their budgets, and they're looking at line by line where they're going to get a saving. I know I, for one, have done that recently when I was upgrading my internet provider, and I saw that I could get a saving myself. So I definitely think we're going to start seeing more and more of this.
Yeah, I agree. Simon, do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, from our perspective, we bundle both in the hard and soft context across all of those categories of video content, music and gaming. We absolutely see they are huge appeal to customers, and they really do drive retention and stickiness. And actually they are a great way of customers saving, and whether that's 6 months free that we might offer rolling onto chargeable, or whether it is bundled into tariffs, we see the customer behavior taking that product, enjoying it, and then sticking with it after it, potentially when they move into chargeable as well.
Fantastic. So your job title is gaming and new categories. What are the new categories within that?
Well, fitness is one that I would look at. So that there, and anything else that comes up, any new services that are out there, where we think that it resonates with customers. That could be anything from taxi halo rides or subscription services linked to that, food delivery services. Any of those opportunities exist as more and more models move to a monthly subscription. Telco's super well set up to support those new subscription models.
Dare I agree, the amount of data that you telcos are sitting on with regards to mobile subscribers and mobile subscriber intelligence is invaluable, and it's something, of course, that many other companies outside can benefit from. And if you have those partnerships with the right brands, you can only profit from. And that's exactly what you're doing at DOCOMO Digital as well. So
I can quickly jump in,
please,
James.
Please do.
So
Yeah. I want this to be a discussion. So if you've got something to add, perhaps don't hang back. Please jump in. Let's go for it.
Of course. Sam touched upon my favorite category because I'm an amateur and late entrant to the fitness world. So, and especially with COVID, we all had to kind of figure out how do we stay fit indoors, right? So if any fitness app comes bundled with my tariff plan, I'll be the first one to subscribe. And I think the other one as a consumer, I would look at is I have two monstrous children, young children at home. So, parents like me, we would want to channel their energies into, something like interactive learning, right? So probably an edutech is another category as a consumer I would look at. But, my industry perspective, of course, with 5G, opening up exciting opportunities with improved connectivity. There are, things like AR, VR, cloud gaming, live sports, digital security, cloud storage. These kind of services, of course, will see a lot of activity in the coming time.
Yeah, I saw a company out there who's actually it was a Bundesliga, so the equivalent of the Premier League in the UK, Bundesliga game, put cameras on the two teams, all the players. And I have to admit, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but it had me intrigued, and I was watching that game for a few minutes, and I would never normally be doing that. So that type of content, and if you bundle it within your offerings, for example, from BT or EE, it can bring in a whole new audience into something that was never there at all.
Absolutely, and we obviously have the incredible asset of BT Sport, where we have those content, we have that rights. We are looking and exploring innovative ways of bringing sport and making sport an interactive experience for customers, whether that's in AR, 3D, or match sharing and sharing experiences. Yeah, sport is fantastic for all of those things.
It is an absolutely fantastic one. Hugo, what other trends are you seeing out there? What other new categories are you seeing coming out there that actually bring the money as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting, addition, right? It's one thing to capture someone's attention; it's another thing to then keep it, and it's another thing to make sure
to monetize it. Yeah,
exactly. And an interesting sort of cross section. My previous role was VP of Commercial at a company called Melody VR, who actually we had a reverse takeover of Napster, and then Napster was acquired by Algorand. But there was a time when we were doing some pretty interesting work with the likes of Singtel down in Singapore, where we worked with them on launching their 5G solution. And they didn't use headsets. It was just on mobile phone. And, it was interesting to see some of the work that came out of there. Yes, a huge splash, and we're able to capture attention. But then it was about how do we make sure that we continue that and carry that on month, and growing the catalog, making sure it was localized, making sure that we were doing everything we could. The other work we did was with Telefonica here in the UK, where we helped them launch their 5G as well. Big splash. We were able to work with them on a hard bundle where we actually bundled a 5G handset with a virtual reality headset and a 12-month subscription to Melody VR. A fantastic way to get people into new technology. So for me, I think bundling can be used as a great way for mass audiences, but I think a lot of people don't realize that it can actually be used as a great way to tease new technology and innovation. And I think that's something I definitely wanted to highlight on this discussion.
Dare I talk about the metaverse coming up as well? That's something we have touched on at the edges of the MEF firmament, but I'm sure we'll be talking about a lot more, because that will become real, no doubt, in impact, I'm sure, everyone's businesses here. Rakshit, DOCOMO Digital, going back to yourself and bundling, how much, you can't put your finger obviously on the percentage or the amount of money, but in simple language, how much has bundling really changed the game and ultimately increased the revenues, your clients' revenues, etc.? Has bundling really changed the game and moved it on? Because the idea is simple. The idea is very remarkably simple, but it actually hasn't really been used massively until late, and effectively until very recently.
No, absolutely. I mean, bundling is a strategic business for DOCOMO Digital. It kind of ties well also into direct carrier billing, which is our core service offering, right? Look, we power more than 35 connections for Amazon Prime, Amazon Fuse, and we've kind of attained a lot of experience over a period of a couple of years in the bundling space. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of. I mean, of course, it's a large enough business for us. It's a separate business line within our company, and it's growing rapidly. And it's also, a relevant business line, which is exciting for telcos and merchants put together. Telcos are always looking to widen their digital services portfolio, and merchants are looking at growing their business in existing and new territories, right? So, our investment in bundling as a business will continue to grow, and we of course will remain matchmakers, right? We enable these conversations between telcos and merchants. We want more and more deals to happen, and as a system integrator, we aim to make each of this deal a commercial success for telcos and merchants, and we try to create this win-win-win partnership. We also have a solution which is kind of increasing bundling business as a whole in the industry. Our solution comes pre-integrated with all the bundled digital merchants and is already connected to major telcos and telco groups across the globe. We generate this added value into the business by bringing in scalable growth to our partners. We help them to enjoy multiple bundling launches with a single integration with us, right? So it's driving us a lot in this space. It's with the value promise that we have of the scalable growth towards our partners like telcos and merchants. So yeah, of course, this will be. We believe that this business will become the largest business for us. It's already inching towards that, but yeah, this will be the largest business for DOCOMO Digital.
I think as well.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to build on that point, really, of that single integration. So last year, I did a single integration on gaming with Xbox, and then was able to launch 11 separate propositions built around that. And that could be anything from 3 months free, 12 months free, included in tariff, whatever. So once you have that commercial framework agreed with a partner, you have the system integrator and the integration built, it's then up to the telco to be as creative as they want around how they offer that to customers. And that's the great thing about some of the work that we've done is the flexibility we've had in the offers that we bring out there, so customers can try it in multiple different ways.
Hugo, sorry. Oh yeah, I think you're coming anyway.
I was just going to add that I'm also probably a bit further behind than Simon is. I mean, we're at the stage where that is what I'm pitching internally to the business. Here are the benefits of this type of technology. Is if we're to scale and scale fast, we can't be slowed down by standalone integrations, and we very much see partners like DOCOMO and other technologies as ways for us to enable the ability to scale fast. I think it's very interesting. We've sort of gone around the room and we're all at very different stages, but it just sort of further validates what I have been working incredibly hard internally on educating, because I think there is a huge education piece in this space. I don't think it's widely understood, and I think it's such a simple benefit, and dare I say it's turnkey. But here I am selling on behalf of DOCOMO, right?
Hey, but look at pizzas and Pizza Express. Some bright spark thought, hey, for an extra 99 cents, we're going to add cheese into the crust, because they saw so many people leaving the crust by the side, and that brought good old Pizza Hut back in the day years ago a ton more revenue. So it's nothing new, is it? But the integration and the technology side of things, Rakshit, is critical. And I think what you touched on, the fact that you can have one integration, and Simon, you followed in, saying behind that, you then had 14, I think you mentioned, various flavors, shall we say, of what could be offered behind, would be amazing. And for me, from a basic consumer perspective, I like my Xbox. And if you had some various offerings on various games or whatever it might be linked to my BTE subscription, then yeah, I'd be encouraged. So I think that is absolutely critical, and it's the brands clearly that we're talking about here, the brands from the previous discussion, and indeed that's going to be talked about in our next discussion with our next member following this session, is absolutely critical. Hugo, just going back to yourself, what needs to be done, or what trends are you going to be seeing in the future actually getting subscribers like me to actually say, yes, I'm going to go for this bundling offer? We've talked about price, and we talked about the fact that the cost and the cost savings, economic impact of what's going on multiple fronts, household finances tightening. Obviously, cost is going to be an issue. What else is there out there, and trends in being able to get consumers onto bundles successfully?
Great question. I mean, you've sort of touched upon all the areas that I see as being immediate, not concerns, but hurdles for a brand like us. For a brand like us, we're in a space where we understand that there are so many different options out there, right? And so it's about finding a point of difference. For us, I mentioned that we're looking to launch, our Web3 strategy. We've actually just released a light paper if anyone is interested in learning more about what that actually means. But we just also want to be true to what we believe, and we want to become a music subscription service for true music fans. And we want to, surface that. You've got a lot of choice out there at this stage. You've got some streaming services going into certain spaces, maybe more podcasting, maybe more devices. We're just wanting to be true to ourselves and to our heritage and our history, and make sure that we deliver on what we promise, which is the ability for someone to truly immerse themselves in a brand new service. I've talked about this quite openly. I view success in this space as if we're able to start taking 1, 2, 5% in the next couple of years of the total music streaming service. That's a pretty significant business. And you look at some of the statistics all around the world in different markets, and there's not one that isn't growing in music, and most of them are all double digits, which is just phenomenal. So I think it's just making sure that we remain relevant. It's making sure that we do the simple things right, i.e. bundling, i.e. direct carrier billing, making sure that we can take our customers hard-earned dollars as seamlessly as possible, and making that a smooth transition for them, and making that a really, I was listening to your previous commentary.
I was about to ask you about regulation. About the amounts you can add to a bill. Yeah,
exactly. But also just the complaints, right? And just making sure that your customers are happy. So it's just about doing these simple things right, and making sure that, yes, you could get a whole lot of people through the door, but I keep on going back to making sure that you keep them. I think it's all those different factors that will play a part for us anyway.
Well, we saw that in RCS World as well, in partnership with Google and over at Google's office in Dublin, where when it comes to the world of messaging and rich content in particular, obviously talking about RCS, rich communication services, I think from the Mobile Squared presentation, my memory serves me correctly, it's 3% of the super users. So the people that are truly finished, you get them hooked. They're going to be, in plain language, handing over a lot of money to your brand and spending a lot of money with you to get them hooked. And there are plenty of ways of getting them to your brand, as we're hearing. Now, back to you, Simon from EBT. What different partnership models are there out there for the OTT bundling with the rollout? You talked about 5G and its importance with its rollout. What models are there out there?
Models in regards to the kind of commercial models that we have with the partners?
Yeah.
So I think, any model is available, right? Works for both parties. And from my perspective, I want to bring great services that customers want to interact with. The commercial model that sits behind that can range dramatically. What we bring to the relationship from a telco perspective is just scale. So we have 30 million customer relationships. We have a connection in one of every 2 homes, and we can talk to those customers directly. So largely, what I would rely on is that reach that I have to drive awareness of partners' products, get them to taste them, get them to trial them, get them to start using them and experience them, and from there fall in love with them and want to use them and want to pay for them and go on from that. So that's the ideal relationship approach that I would look for. But we can work in many ways with partners depending on the service and the commercial models that sit behind it.
Fantastic. And what drives you, sticking with you, Simon, what drives you to partner with specific OTT services?
Again, it comes down to the appeal of those. Do they fill a role within a customer's life? And as I said, we have today, from a EE and BT perspective, we have relationship with Netflix, Prime Video, BritBox, Apple Music, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. They're just a few of the kind of partnerships where we offer those services to our customers, and that service doesn't necessarily have to sit. And as I say, I look at new categories and look at fitness and other subscription models. And as we're seeing in the market, more and more is turning into a subscription model, whereas previously you could, never imagine anything other than buying a CD. Now people can't imagine buying a CD and only imagine subscribing to a music service. So that is happening more and more right across industries that you never thought would move to that model. I mean, gaming again is moving into that space with Game Pass Ultimate, PlayStation Plus, and Google Play, Apple Arcade, right across the market on mobile, on console. So yeah, I think nothing is off limits, and it's up for great brands to produce great services that customers want, and for telco to help support bring those to market.
Perfect. I think you need to also, it's worth possibly, dare I say, actually asking the customers what they want as well.
We do that a lot. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I have to admit, my mobile operator, I'm making a mistake here. I'm not with EE, but they actually haven't asked me about that area, my serving operator. So they're missing a trick there, I can tell you. Anyway, thank you, Simon. Rakshit, going back to yourself, DOCOMO Digital, global company, global outlook, subscription bundling having a serious impact on your business. And again, go back to the analyst presentation, go back to consumers' opinions on direct carrier billing, what's working with them, why they are adding services to the mobile phone bill. Are your own figures reflecting what Guillermo from Omdia is seeing, what our own 6,500 real-life consumer survey across 10 countries is seeing, and that it truly is a handful of countries in Asia Pacific really leading the show here? Is that true? Is that what you're seeing?
I mean, say bundling works quite different compared to direct carrier billing. Direct carrier billing is payments, right? So bundling is when a merchant and telco, they come together, form a strategic partnership, and there is a go-to-market plan. They create a co-marketing plan, user acquisition plan, and all these things are quite different compared to payments, right? So the trends are also going to be quite different. What we see, I mean, I won't be specific in terms of regions, because we got to change our perspective a little bit. We have seen the highest business coming from a medium-sized operator for us. I mean, don't get me wrong. We are working with the largest brands and we are connecting those brands to the largest telco groups and telcos across the globe. But it entirely depends on the kind of commitment a merchant and telco will put together for the expansion into the country.
It's not necessarily those big global operators, cross-national global operators that are having
it depends on the kind of muscle power that you're using to make that business a success. It's not like naturally users are going to go to your checkout page and select a carrier billing option and pay for the service. That's different. But when you talk about bundles, it has to be like a win-win partnership between a merchant and telco. And what we are doing, in addition to going to more and more merchants globally and expanding our coverage of telcos, keeping end users in mind and addressing the specific bottleneck that we have seen. I mean, not specifically EE that I'm talking about, but generally, there are only a few bundles available from a telco, right? Because there are many constraints, like every bundling partnership would require contract negotiation and a separate integration, and then there are only a few services that can be possibly bundled together with a tariff plan, right? So what we have done specifically from our side is I mentioned about the scalable growth, right? We have this solution, a 360 solution, and it's live with Optus in Australia. It's called SubHub. What it's able to do is Optus is now able to offer increased number of bundling services and giving a choice to the end user. So wide variety of services available. Consumers can select which one they would like to add to their plan. And also, Hugo mentioned about budgets, household budgets. So now the end users can, manage their subscriptions, and because they are bundling discounts available, they are able to minimize their cash outflow for these subscription services. And with ease of these subscription management, they're able to kind of manage, stop the subscriptions that they don't need, enable subscriptions all within the same place, right? So that's something as a company we are doing. Yep.
Fantastic. So, Hugo, we're shockingly rather close to the close of this session. 40 minutes flies by. We're having fun and talking about a topic which I think all of you watching this can truly identify, because we'll all have received something, could be from your movie provider saying, oh, how about this, add this extra channel for a reduced amount tied in for 18 months or whatever it might be. So there's been a big increase in that lately. I've seen that personally. Your closing remarks, Hugo, you mentioned internally, you're talking internally with your team about having to pick up the fact that with the implementation, you can have, which Simon mentioned, so you have one implementation, but you have 14 different packages behind. What other things would you be saying to your internal team, and indeed the industry as a whole, to really embrace subscription bundling to drive it forward?
One closing remark for the entire industry.
I know. I haven't done a good job there. 60 seconds.
That's no small task. I think it all comes down to making sure that the customer has the best possible experience. And it sounds super simple, whether it's direct carrier billing at checkout, or offering the ability for them to plug in their credit card or debit card or e-wallet, or potentially paying with crypto. That'd be pretty amazing, wouldn't it, right? Or turning to their carrier to bundle, whether it be hard or soft. To be honest, for me, it's about as many doors that consumer can walk through and making it as easy as possible for them to do so.
Fantastic. So it is. Simon, I can see you're about to jump in. You agree?
I was just going to agree, but also make sure that customer can manage their subscription really simply. So we're not in the industry of trying to trap customers into a subscription that they're not interested in, and absolutely, make it as simple as possible for them to manage that, cancel, roll off, and that's the beauty of these services as well.
I'm a bad moderator. I'm not allowed to have an opinion, but here, 100%. We don't want to be tied, accidentally click on something in the teeny tiny small print. We've actually tied ourselves in for 24 months. It's like, no, exactly. It's huge. Closing remark, Rakshit, and thank you to you, DOCOMO Digital, as well, for sponsoring this wider event, making it possible for everyone and all of you out there to watch this event for free. So closing remark from yourself, sir. Thank you.
No, I mean, a great discussion. We'll remain committed to bundling as a business and continue to bring growth both to our telco partners and our merchant partners. Thankfully, we have great examples of both on this panel. Yeah, so I mean, if in case there is any question around bundles, or if there is anything that DOCOMO Digital can do to bring the growth that you're looking for, we are always reachable. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So to summarize, there's a huge future for subscription bundling. It's going to drive real growth, add revenue, add margin. But at the end of the day, give the customers what they want, because at the moment, it's clear that many aren't getting what they actually want. Many aren't being asked. So ask your customers what they want, make it easy to access, don't trap them in the small print, and backing up when it comes to the actual implementation for the likes of Simon's company, make that implementation easy, which is clear companies like DOCOMO Digital do. So thank you so much to you, Hugo from Napster, Simon from EEBT, and Rakshit from DOCOMO Digital. Up next, we're going to be joining PM Connect for their session, and I'm sure some rather well-known brands will be mentioned there as well. So catch you there soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.